All right, well, let's go ahead and get this started because it's noon. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Agents Live. Today is show number 25, a quarter-century show for us, or whatever you want to call it. Number 25 is a big one. And today is episode 4 of the How to Own a Successful Funding Business series, which we've been doing every day this week, and we will sort of wrap up tomorrow. Today we're going to be talking about learning, training. There's a lot to learn when you start your career with us as a member office, or maybe you're transitioning from outside of finance, or what I feel like happens more is you're already in finance, but you're looking to grow your business. You're tired of only getting 2 or 3 deals a month. You want to get to 10, 20, 30, all the stuff that we've done before. So today we're going to talk about the training. And I've got a quote here from Otto von Bismarck, who've never heard it before, but I love the quote. And the quote says, "Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others." So I feel like that really applies because as a member office, you get to learn from all of our mistakes. And
Right.
we've made a lot. Over 10 years, we've made a lot of mistakes, and from those mistakes, we've learned how to run a successful business. And that's what we're passing on to all of our member offices.
Trials and tribulations, right?
Exactly. All right, so there's 4 major components we're going to be talking about today of our training system. First one is the partnership manager, and that's the one-on-one relationship you have with Trey, or most people aren't with Trey. Trey's mostly with the established offices, but some of the other partnership managers in the office. Then we'll talk about the training manual that we get that gets sent out to you. Next, we'll go into the online learning portal where you're going to be doing most of your, sort of book learning. And then the, experiential learning happens in partnership with your partnership manager. And then finally, the daily calls, which is something that I do on a regular basis where we're announcing new products or it's group support. What's your favorite part of those?
So one thing I'd mention
4
is
parts.
I think outside of the affiliate platform being the biggest asset to the member office, this is number 2, and that's the ongoing training and support. Because
Great.
there's so much work. There's so much work on a daily, hourly basis supporting all of our member offices, and that's what we're here for. So this is it makes me, I'm up in the morning, up at night, and so I'm here to support every person. So I think people understand how much time it takes to go through training, and we've done a great job as far as incorporating it and making it scalable. So for me, it's the daily call. So
Right.
I love the daily call. I think that's one of the best ideas we've ever had, and so it's a way of what you said, learning from everyone's mistakes, having interaction. So, but let's talk about the partnership manager. Let's do that.
Yeah, I was going to, when we launched this program, I didn't really realize how much we had to teach people. And I'm not saying that to scare people away because you can learn it all. You don't have to do it in a day. I was talking to my wife who bought a dental practice. Another dentist she owned told her that you don't even really know until you're going to succeed until year 4. And I thought, well, that's pretty, that's a long time. Then I was talking to somebody the other day who has owned multiple businesses, and he says each one, somewhere around year 5 is when you really start to make money. We're trying to teach people how to run a successful business in a week,
Yeah.
right? Maybe it's a little aggressive, but there's a lot to learn. Everything from doing your marketing, the different types of funding, how to work the tech, how to do pay systems, everything. So there's a lot to learn, but the good news is we can walk you through it. And it all starts from the relationship you have with your partnership manager. That's your internal dedicated rep. You're pretty darn lucky if you get Trey because he knows everything about everything. But again, this is another one of the surprises. Bringing on partnership managers internally has been one of the hardest hires I've ever had to do because we got to bring somebody in who knows how to screen who's going to be the right office and can coach you through every step of the process. What do you feel? What do you like the most about your role when you're acting as a partnership manager for a member office?
Sure. I mean, through the years, we've developed out certain roles. Like we've had agent managers, we've had funding specialists, we've had some people do it the same one fell swoop. But as a partnership manager, I'm not the boss of the member offices. There's a fine line. I want to coach, teach, train. Inspire, all these things, but at the end of the day, this is your own business. I can only give you suggestions of what should be done, of at least what we've seen in the past.
Right.
From servicing leads, managing agents, so it's more of a concierge. We're your main point of contact here at the corporate offices, maybe getting an update with an underwriter, but it's more of a, every member office is different and everything's tailored to what their goals would be. Some member offices over the last couple of years are happy doing 2 or 3 deals a month. Some want to be doing 5 to 10. Some want to be doing 25 a month. So it's all about.
We want offices doing 30.
Right.
Right. That's where we.
So
And that's the structure we developed.
Right. I enjoy with what we do. We're in the relationship business, and I view our member offices as our true clients. They're the ones, if they're happy and they're successful, then we're going to be successful as well.
Your microphone is...
Okay, great. I'm getting a tech feed. Just come in and fix it, whatever it is that you need me to do. Sorry for the break, but anyway, all right. So the partnership manager, I'm curious, what do you think is the hardest thing? What's the biggest hurdle that you need to coach your offices through? And I'm sure it's different for everybody, but what do you see more than anything else?
The biggest hurdle is being able to get them through. Everyone has a different speed as far as how fast they want to learn, how fast they want to be to working with agents. But I think there's a lot. I mean, people go through our learning management system, which we'll talk about in a second. There's a lot of information you're being bombarded with. So it's really kind of being patient.
Patience, right?
Patient with each relationship.
And that kind of goes with what I'm saying. I think maybe if we've done anything wrong, we've sort of given the impression that you're going to start your own business and everything's going to be great in a month, right? Well, there's a lot you could do very quickly, but to really build a successful long-term business, you need to have patience and work on it over time. Is my mic on? No, not at all? I'll just yell at Trey.
Okay, so we have a question by Ron. So are there some quotas? Good question, first off. We do put together, like for myself, beginning of the year, each member office has their own goal. And so I can suggest goals as far as quotas, as far as lead flow, as far as approvals for particular files, being certified on certain programs, going through the LMS. So every relationship's different. We customize it to make it to where you think some people are more proficient in commercial real estate, right? So we may focus in on that type of program, and so we tailor the learning path. And so over time, I would say it takes a good 3 to 4 months before you really have a good set or a good mindset of how many you should be doing per month.
Yeah, on the quotas, I mean, you are running your own company, so it's up to you how much business you want to do. It's not up to us. Of course, we try to show you how to be as successful as you want to be. If you want to run your own individual shop, just do your own thing. You're going to do whatever you're going to do. If you want to bring on a staff and grow a sales floor to 6 or 7 people, start bringing in 30 deals a month, that's where we'd like you to be.
Right.
But all right, it looks like I'm on now, so hopefully.
It's all about deals. We want to be helping as many clients as possible and
making money,
and not just coaching and training people. Just hearing your voice. We want to get deals done.
All right, great. So let's move on to the next section. So another quote we have here is, develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. That's really a big part of what we're doing here is, when I got into finance, I had no idea how much there was to learn. I thought it was going to be pretty simple and straightforward. Come to learn there are so many different types of funding programs. They all work differently. We've taken all of our experience from 10 years and put it into our training manual. There's 184 pages in there, which is not... And each single page, often we've turned into a half-hour training or more. So the training manual is a condensed version that you can use as a reference manual while you're working. But each one, there's lots to learn on top of that. And you'll pick it up over time.
Right. So this is like our Bible, right? So I can't tell you how many days in the past years spending time building certain training manuals for funding specialists or appointment setter or business development. So this has been what we've been doing forever, all in one manual, and this is what kind of has dictated our other training process for LMS.
Right, and it's constantly evolving. So I have the different chapters up here, and of course it's always growing, but just to go through it real quick, it starts with the intro that has a program overview, shows you how to sort customers, then it goes through all the products. RBA, which is the working capital, then the credit card program, rollovers, SBA, equipment leases, and private real estate. We have other programs that are still in beta or not fully launched, but once they are, they get added into the training manual. Then we have a whole section on underwriting, so you understand how the underwriting system works. We have a sales section that talks about different sales strategies, tactics, and then the CRM, which shows you how to manage the lead system. We have a whole section on agent marketing, and then we have some quizzes. What are the quizzes from?
These are quizzes from the past. So if I wanted to coach and train someone up after they've gone through a certain training on, like, let's say, commercial real estate, we have a quiz to see what fell through the cracks. There's so much information, so you're not going to be 100% right. So let's see what you didn't get through the training and address that.
So when I get the training manual, I'm supposed to take those quizzes?
These quizzes are In addition to the LMS, yes.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
these are also being utilized for assistants and funding specialists amongst the organization. So
Okay.
if you have the Jesse James of the world, he hands them out to his people.
Great. And then we have an appendix which has samples and examples of all the different ratings and review sheets you get. It shows different training manuals. Oh, here we actually have the training screenshots for the training manual. Darren's going to show it through just so you get an idea what it looks like. But this you got like featured programs, program highlights. Here's an example of the application with the sections highlighted that need to be filled out and the ones that are optional.
This is a good, sorry Tim, this is a good picture of, we have our own internal rating system.
Right.
For every program. And so that's for an internal use. So it's a great guide for when a member office gets a certain rating for a certain program, they can go back and look at it and see what it means. But our rating system, projections are always important when trying to help someone.
Great. So here's another example. It shows closing call scripts. We have objections and rebuttals for every different program. So there's a lot to learn in here that we picked up from selling funding for years. All right, so here's another quote. Study the past if you would define the future. Now, if you are coming to us because you want to change your life, own your own business, and determine your own future, I hope that's who you are. That's who we're looking to support. We love supporting people like that. Then this is the program for you. And next is the system that we do it. The primary place you're going to do your learning. It comes down to two places. Working with your partnership manager and then learning online at your own speed. We have 28 different courses with over 150 videos across a wide range of categories. A lot of them are product, but also how to run your business, what sort of stats that you want to do, agent marketing. I think on the next page I actually have a list or a section. Here's 16 of the 28 courses. Again, just sort of review them, but it's the stuff we're talking about. Like we have a section called Benefits and Documents where it goes through all the different primary funding programs and tells you the benefits of each program and the documents needed for a review. This is one of the early things that gets assigned to a new member office because you got to see that overall picture so that you know how to categorize people. And that's one of the keys to success is knowing, are they going to fit here, 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 or do they fit nowhere so I can just move on and not waste time helping somebody who it's impossible to help.
So as a partnership manager, one of their roles would be is to tailor the path as far as the learning management system. And what they're doing is after watching a series of short videos with Tim, you're taking small quizzes, short quizzes, and then we're reviewing those answers, good, bad, giving input, so giving feedback. So it's a great way of learning if there's a snowstorm on the East Coast. You can go to the LMS,
right,
bone up on the BDRA program.
We've seen some people come in and really bang through the training very quickly. So even though we've talked a lot about how much there is, you can get through it very fast. So Trey's broken up the training into a few different phases, and this is what we typically do when a new office comes on. And then I wrote it all down and I don't have it with it.
Okay.
So the first phase, what do you cover in the first phase?
Normally the first phase is going to be a group of courses. One's the Quick Start series. Then we have Benefits and Documents, Minimums and Ideals.
What's the minimums and ideals?
Basically it's addressing each core funding program and going over the minimum requirements that someone needs to have to possibly be a solution for their business. Or the ideal type of credit or sales or ideal scenario for that person to be successful with this particular program. So this is really giving someone a good snapshot on the cornerstones of each program. So Benefits and Documents, Quick Start Series, Minimums and Ideals. We add Market Focus.
Market Focus,
which is
very
one of your
important.
favorites.
Part of the personalization that we're going to be talking about tomorrow.
And then Affiliate Marketing.
And then Agent Marketing, right?
Yep, so those are the 5 core courses you start with, and then after that it kind of gets tailored towards the relationship.
Right, and then after that, as he was saying, you'll be going into deeper understanding and learning about the different funding programs, but not necessarily all of them. As we figure out exactly who you're marketing to and what kind of products you're going to be delivering the most, we focus on those first in order to get you up to speed as fast as possible so that you're closing deals. We understand that hope doesn't pay the bills, and hope is not a strategy. That's one of Trey's sayings that I love repeating. So we get you to funding as quickly as possible so you're making money so that you're able to grow, and then long term you're going to be developing your market and your proficiency. So we have some screenshots from the learning management system that Darren will sort of flip through relatively quickly because the purpose isn't to do a deep dive. Once you're in, you're in. But you'll see, you go into one, You go through the different videos. Generally, each video has a test attached to it. And when I say test, typically it's 2-question quiz, right?
Yeah, about 2 to 4 questions usually. But
so you'll watch or listen for about 5 minutes.
Right.
So about 5 minutes. And out of those 5 minutes, we think, what are the most important 2 things we want to make sure somebody gets out of that? You'll get those. You'll type it into the box. It'll come to your partnership manager, who will give you feedback on whether or not you're in the right direction. And you like grading the tests, you told me.
Well, yeah, I love.
Right.
I mean, this is a good way of seeing who's gravitating, who's sponging up the information. Mm-hmm. So I've seen a direct correlation for people who are being successful as a new member office, the ones going through the LMS. So and it's easy on our end. We have the Rhoda Flumes made it amazingly easy to make this process simple.
Right, and in the system, you actually win badges for completing the training. So to date, Therese Tagnon has the #1 winner for most trainings completed, right? She's got all the badges in there. So good work, Therese, if you're watching this. All right, so and this all comes down to the core structure here, right? Like we have another quote here: "Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel." So we could give you all the training in the world, talk forever, but really the goal here is to get you working deals so that you're looking for answers to help specific clients. And that's why we really couldn't put everything into a training ever. And that's why you have the partnership manager, you have the online system, but beyond that we have the daily call. So let me tell you a little bit about the daily call and how it works, since this is something I do. Every day at noon Pacific, I jump onto a GoToWebinar, and then some of the time I have some pre-arranged content where we are doing a training topic of the day, or here's information about a newer product, or here's a question that's coming up a lot, and we'll go through some of that. And then maybe half the time it's just an open forum where people can come in and talk about deals. So not only are you just learning from us, but you're learning from what the other offices are going through. So an office comes in and say, hey, got this guy who wants merchant processing. We haven't actually done any training on yet. Here's a scenario. What do you think about that? Sometimes I answer, sometimes the other offices answer. So, and that really, encapsulates the entire process here. You've got training from your partnership manager, online training, you've got book training, and then you have a group of people in daily support to grow with that you're not necessarily competing with. And that's what we're talking about, the personalization tomorrow. So every daily call, we record them and we upload them into our private Facebook group that is only available for member offices. Wow. If you see the screenshot here, I went through and just tried to take a screenshot of all the different trainings that are up there. It's a lot, right? So, for example, every Monday, Trey does a weekly, what do you cover on your weekly, what do you call that?
So for Mondays, it's basically a weekly review. So in the previous week, I get topics or scenarios that people want to address in the daily call. So Monday, we go over the submissions of the previous week, go over some LMS topics, go over the weekly questions, and have a topic at hand. So I will see the different subjects coming up normally. So if I see a trend of people needing to know more about a certain program or process, we'll make that a topic. So it's more of a recap of the previous week.
Great. So if you go to any of the calls, I would definitely make sure to go to the Monday call, because then you see stats from the other offices and it's good. Beyond that, there's no requirement that you come to the daily calls, but we are there for you whenever you need it. So, for example, maybe you had some trouble getting a hold of your partnership manager because they're so busy. Jump on the call, ask any question you want, and we'll right there get answers, even if it's not something that I can answer for you right away. But we do have some questions coming in. Ron is asking, do you have profiles or demographics of where in the U.S. the market is ripe for this business? So that is a great question, and we're going to answer it more tomorrow, but I'll give you an initial answer now, is that we have so many different funding programs that no. And what I mean is there is so much you can do with finance. Everybody can use money. Anybody can use money if you can get the right price. Each one of our member offices, we're going to structure and personalize it for a specific market, meaning you're going to have specific agents bringing you a specific type of client for a specific funding program. And in order to have what you're asking, we'd have to have information on every single thing in the world, and obviously we don't have that. But as a part of the process with each office, we help determine the right market, and we'll be working with you based on our experience. So it's a yes and a no on that. But we do know the markets that are hot, the ones that have more or less competition. Like right now, working capital loans is kind of on the decrease, but term loans are on the increase. But then again, it breaks down not only just where, but by industry and by who are your agents. So there's so many variables. We will work with you to help determine what is right.
I will jump in and say there are some markets we need more of an influence.
Right.
We have agents signing up every day organically. So one of the things I do when I sign agents out would be the common industry or background or region. So if I have someone sign us up who's in Denver, Colorado, and our member office is in Colorado, that's assigned to that person.
Do you have an area that doesn't have a member office? So
I
you feel like we really
need
somebody?
Georgia, North Texas.
We don't have anybody in Georgia.
We
That's
do.
awful. We got so many agents.
We
from
do.
Atlanta
We have
area.
tons of agents, but we do have a member office in Atlanta. But everyone's a little bit different. She's really not dealing with agents. She wants to do her own thing.
Doing her own thing.
So, but Georgia, North Texas, I would say Colorado. We're always looking for more people in here in Southern California, but it comes down to one thing we haven't addressed as far as training aspects is we're helping people by doing consultation, doing the first calls with agents. You know, calling agents so you can be a fly in the wall to see how you would talk to these individuals. Also servicing of leads. So we're servicing leads, you know, having trainings where you're listening to the partnership manager call leads for the first time, learning from that process, and the training aspects as far as helping close deals.
We are right there next to you, doing it with you, getting you to the point where you succeed. Our goal is to get you to the point where you can turn in deals, and you're always going to be asking questions. And just by the fact of turning in a deal, you're going to have some people that are turned down, or they get a different funding amount than you're expecting, hopefully more. But there's always going to be back and forth between us and with the underwriters. But we're working with you. This is a partnership. Once you come on, you've got your own business, but we are partners in the business there to help you. And you benefit from everything that we develop for any other office. It's a network effect that the more offices come on, as opposed to creating more competition for you, you're actually getting more benefit and resources. And again, we're going to talk about this a lot more tomorrow. We're going to go to a deep dive on the different ways that we personalize an office. So make sure to come back tomorrow for our last show from this week. But also, don't forget about next week. We spend a lot of time talking about, from our perspective, what do we do, our systems, oh, it's great, you want to believe us. How about you hear from actual member offices? Next week, we're going to have 4 bonus interviews. We're going to get actual member offices that have been working with us, some for a short period of time, some for a long period of time, on the phone or even in the office, right? Is it Thursday?
Most likely Friday with Syntex.
Syntex is going to be Friday now. All right, well, we did you. All right, so this is wrong. But anyway, next week, come on. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll have office interviews. And this is open for you guys to ask questions, right? We'll talk to them, but you can chime in and ask whatever question you want, and they'll give you the answer. We're not coaching them to butter us up, right? This is the real, and this is starting a business. So it is not all roses. Right? Things go wrong. Things are hard. We're going to be we're here telling you the truth and working through it with you, as opposed to somebody that's just trying to butter up and sell something, right? We're looking for real partnerships. Once you sign on, if you don't like it, we're working with you on it. It means we don't like it together. So, we're not trying to trick people into doing something that they shouldn't do. And in fact, we say no to some people.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely.
So anyway, there is an application process. Of course, you do have to pass a background check. That's probably the most frequent reason we say no to people.
Everyone has something in the background, right?
I don't know about it.
Everyone has something. So we're basically looking for people that don't have anything financially fraudulent in someone's recent past.
Financial fraud.
Right.
If you have financial fraud, jail time, whatever, sorry, that's not going to work. If we can't take you to the bank, then they're not going to want us working with you. But it doesn't mean that if you had some traffic infractions or whatever, that's not going to disqualify you. All right, so if you're new to the show, first time here, make sure to subscribe. We appreciate you guys coming on. We're open for questions. If anybody has any more questions, Ron, you had a couple, but I think we already answered them. Melissa came. Oh, Darren has a question.
So how long does it take to get through the training? Like, what's the fastest we've had somebody go through?
Well, the training never ends.
Never ends.
So, and I don't mean that, but I know maybe you're saying the LMS, right? If you wanted to sit down and just blaze through the LMS, you could probably do it in a couple weeks, right?
I would say it's a good question, Darren. LMS is going to be a long time because there's so many courses, and once you get through certain phases, it's really working with the leads and the agents procuring deals. So, but over time, every member office should keep going and finishing all the courses. But I would say the first range of 3 weeks is a good milestone before you really start to work with leads or converse with agents.
Right. Now, reading and watching is not the whole training.
Right.
The real training is doing that and then applying it by working deals. I really view like the first 3 closings you have for every single funding program as the second half of your training, and really the important half, because if you don't get through that, then none of the other stuff even mattered. And then how many agents do you think you have to work with before you're proficient at agent management?
Well, at the beginning, we are giving out leads to new member offices to help them through the learning curve, even live transfers some days. And so we spend a lot of time going over the lead scenario and targeting what's the best program for them. That's part of the training process. But I want to make sure people are proficient with the affiliate platform and somewhat have a knowledge of some of the programs before we start dealing with agents. So it's a good 3 to 4 weeks before they're actually in the CRM, utilizing the CRM, servicing some leads with the partnership manager. So the first month, I would say that's a good general time range.
Okay, and then you're going to be doing closing calls with them. So that means they will be talking to the client and you're listening, or initially they talk to the client, get an application. Once they're approved, then you offer the finance while they listen. You're doing both, right?
Definitely. So we don't expect a member office to be able to be proficient in any of the funding programs at the beginning. So we are offering that support. So let's say a member office has someone who's been pre-approved for the unsecured business finance program. They are going to be part of the process, but have someone like myself or someone here be their product manager representing their brand.
Okay.
Going over the program, presenting it to their client or potential client, so they're learning how to present the program as a solution. So we're going to do that at least a good 4 or 5 times, and basically it's a requirement. You have to let us help, because I've seen it so many times where someone tries to do it on their own, they think they can do it, and we want you to be successful as fast as possible and create traction, and that's just
get some
part
wins
of the training. Get some wins.
You got to get some wins,
some circles.
All right, Stan is asking, can the MO fee be financed? And that is a definite yes. We are a finance company, so financing options are available. There will be some sort of upfront payment, but if you talk to us, we can go through the different financing options and figure out what's going to be right for you. Financing should not be a hurdle that keeps you from getting into the system, as long as this is a business that you want to run. If you have the time and the ability, then we should be able to get you in the system, and so that we're making money together and learning together. Deborah's saying hello and thank you. Good. Hello. Hello and
Deborah.
Thank you, Deborah. Anybody else? Got Mary Lee, thank you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. If there are any more questions, throw it in there. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I guess I got to say that and wait 30 seconds because you don't actually see it. You can't actually respond. There's a lag here, just so you know, between when I talk and when you hear it. So, all right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions coming in, probably because I haven't waited 30 seconds yet. But let's go ahead and wrap it up. Trey, thank you for coming on. All of you, we appreciate everything you do. Hopefully, you guys will be interested in doing this. If it sounds interesting, but you're thinking, I don't want to run a full sales company, awesome. And we love our agents. I mean, we have way more agents than offices. And you should be an agent working with one of our offices, generating leads. Ron is asking, is a standalone office recommended? So what I think maybe you're asking is a solo office. So we do have a lot of member office where it's one owner who's running the business on their own.
Well, I think is it brick and mortar building or like a home office? That's what I think he's asking is.
Like, do you need a physical office?
Right.
Well, I'm gonna answer both.
Okay.
In the beginning, definitely don't get a physical office.
Right.
We want to keep your costs as low as possible. Get money. You can do everything over the phone for a while until you get your operating budget up, and once you can cash flow your office, then it does make sense. But over the years, 99% of our clients have been spoken to and worked with over the phone. So you do not have to have a physical location. You're just going to want to have one once you start having staff. You don't want to hire a sales guy to come into your bedroom, right? That'd be a little weird. But on the other side, standalone office, if you're talking about whether or not to do it alone or with a partner, most people come in and do it alone, but partnerships are better. In my opinion, far better. If you have a partner to come in, you're able to split up the responsibilities. Each person will be better at different things. Our most successful office ever was 2 partners, and they got to the point where they're bringing in over $1 million a year, over 30 contracts a month. Partnerships, we've seen them be very successful. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I would definitely say that. That's something I've learned in 2017. So there's so many things to do. And as you're growing, your plate gets pretty full. So as a member office, if you're a one-man or one-woman show, over time, you're going to come across people when dealing with agents that might be a good fit to be part of your organization. And
Right.
you can bring them in. This is scalable. They'll have their own seat in the LMS and really help build things out for your brand.
Especially when you're doing the sales role, which is like doing your funding consults, talking to clients, you got to get in that mindset and go. And the other things about running an office can sometimes take you out of that mindset. So you got to be good at time management in order to make sure you keep doing funding so you don't get caught up in running payroll or doing accounting or figuring out your marketing. Right, so that's in that sense good to have a partnership. But it looks like Ron said he was asking about the physical location. So.
Right. So the last thing I like to say is your investment is for the training. It's what it's all about. You know, it's for the training and having the affiliate platform. And then, like what Tim was mentioning before, you got to take it and run with it. We can't do it for you.
Right, we try. We try. We do everything we can. Somebody's asking, do you fund LLCs for real estate? Yeah, for sure. I mean, our background is in business funding, so if the question is whether or not an LLC is an impediment to real estate transactions, it definitely is not. I mean, a lot of people set up a separate LLC for every piece of real estate they purchase, so that is not a problem. In some ways, it's better and cleaner. All right, well, good. I'll go ahead and wrap it up for the day. Thanks, everybody, for coming on. Appreciate everything you do. Look forward to doing a lot more deals together. Come back tomorrow and learn about how we make the office yours, 100% your brand, your market, your customization, your success. See you there.
Have a good afternoon.